Welcome back. The Sharing Place is an organization that provides places for people to come together, especially children's, teens, and families, to deal with extreme grief. Here to tell us more and give us an update on everything happening within the Sharing Place is John Gold, their executive director, and a parent who's participated in their programs, Jenny. We're so grateful they're both joining us virtually. John, let's start with you. Tell me more about the Sharing Place.
So good morning, Christine. It's good to see you. So the Sharing Place, as you alluded to, is a grief support program for families. We serve kids between the age of 3 to 18 who's had a loved one in their life who has died. So the whole concept and the beauty of the Sharing Place is just being around other families and kids that are going through the same tough situation that you are, and building that support system with each of one another. So it's a beautiful program. And unresolved grief can lead to increased substance abuse, increased suicide, poor academic performance. So it's really important for these families to come to our program.
Jenny, as a parent who has participated in the Sharing Place, what has been your experiences within this organization?
As a parent, I really didn't think I was going to get much out of it. And wow, I have had a place to share my grief, relate, listen to other stories of people getting by, and a lot of parent tips on parenting kids that are going through the grief. I really did think this was a place for my daughter only, and I guess I didn't see that coming. So for me, it's been so healing and sharing, and I have made the best of friends. We could talk very openly and unfiltered, raw.
What helped you, Jenny, push through that hesitancy? You said at first you didn't think you'd get much out of it. So what made you decide to take that step and participate in the programs yourself?
Well, mainly just going there for my daughter and knowing I was a support person for her. So I was hoping to, learn to help her through her grief. And, you get hesitant to share your story because you don't want to be judged and you don't want to be looked down upon. And I'm sitting in front of all these parents who aren't judging at all. And that makes you just want to open up more and more and more. And the way the Sharing Place parent group guides you is so cathartic. I would leave there I could leave there crying, upset, mad, and you just kind of go through those motions.
And how important has it been, while you are struggling with this grief, and your daughter, in fact, to be around other people who have had not the same experience, but similar, who have had that type of loss and really understand it? Because I can imagine that it's only those people who can really understand what you're going through.
For me, I feel like now we're into our grief story 5 years. I am able to help these parents who are coming in. So hoping my little tidbits of advice of how we got through a birthday, an anniversary, holidays, those are really hard things to get through. But when you talk through them and kind of share your experiences, I just think it helps so much.
And John, what a great testament to your program from Jenny. I'd love to hear more about your specific groups, what you provide, and how you offer this type of support for families.
So we put the kids in groups as much as we can by age. So we have a littles group, kids are 3 to 5, and we have a school age group, which is 1st through 5th, a preteen, 6th through 8th, and then a teen, which is 9th through 12. The reason we do that is because cognitively kids process grief differently at a different age. And then the house is designed based on the age of the kids as well. For instance, a lot of our littles or our younger kids will actually do a lot of artwork, big emotions, big with grief, so they do a lot of play. Then our older teens do a lot of conversations and things like that to process their grief. And we also try to put them in groups with similar death circumstances, and the reason we do that is for relatability and things like that as well. And as Jenny alluded to, we also do a parent group, which is so important to what we do. And Our parents, about half the time, they're talking about their grief, and the other half about how they can help their kids process their grief. And just the whole beauty of the dynamics of peer-to-peer grief support, is like Jenny alluded to, is so right on. Is a quick story is similar to Jenny's. Is one of the dads told me when he first started the sharing place, he'd tell me I'd look across the room and look in the eyes of another gentleman whose wife died as well, and he could see that gentleman was learning to laugh again. He was learning to possibly date again. And he's like, I can get to that place in 1 year. And he also has been in the program for 3 years. So now he's a role model for some of the newer families that come in. So it's really the simplicity and the beauty of what makes this program so effective.
And John, I hesitate to even bring this up, but I know many families would be concerned about financing this. What do you have fees? And if people are worried about being able to afford that, what can they do? And how do you get financial support to make sure that everyone can get this type of grief counseling?
That's a great question. We at the Sharing Place believe that our families are going through obviously enough in their lives. So we don't charge for our services at all for our parents. About 30% of our families do a monthly family pledge, but it's really entirely up to them. We put absolutely no pressure on them. We get majority of our funding through foundations, individuals, corporations, and our large fundraiser that's coming up called Day of the Dead.
And Jenny, if a parent is watching this and is feeling hesitant like you did, what would you tell them? Do you have any words of encouragement to help them feel comfortable participating in this program or bringing their child to be able to get this type of support?
I would just say if you can, if you are able to go for a couple times. It took me a couple different groups to kind of start feeling like I was sharing. And the more others share, you want to open up more. So just go and give it a couple times, even if that first time you're feeling uncomfortable.
That's a key point, is that comfort and finding that place. John, you have an incredible staff within your group, within the Sharing Place, that are able to provide that support. How are you able to find these people that are leading the groups and those individuals that are the perfect fit for your programs?
Yeah, we have an amazing staff. You're absolutely right. So ironically, a lot of our staff are either former family or volunteers. So we have a large volunteer base at the Sharing Place too. Each one of our groups are ran by a group coordinator, which is supported by roughly 4 to 6 volunteers in each group. And really their role is to help the coordinator set up for the night, but really to be there to listen to the families and the kids, and also run our adult groups. So we have a homegrown recruiting pool, quite honestly. Is I think a lot of people, once they're affiliated with the Sharing Place, become so attached to what we do, they just continually want to help and give. So a lot of our volunteers will turn into our group coordinators, and some of our families do as well.
And Jenny, the Sharing Place began back in 1993 because of a parent like you who realized there weren't a lot of support organizations or programs within the Salt Lake City area to help families with extreme grief. So I'm curious, now that you're a few years out from this, do you feel that you're a bit of a mentor to families that are maybe coming in and have had a newer loss?
I definitely feel like a mentor, definitely not an expert, but a mentor on grief for sure. And you're talking about volunteering, and I've spoke to John quite a bit about this, and my daughter and I, when she ages out, would love to come volunteer. And I would love to help with one of the parent groups. That's where I feel like I could help the most.
And John, are you full? Are there still openings within your program if people want to join? I know there's been a really big need for your programs, especially throughout the pandemic and beyond. And you're building and growing to be able to fulfill everyone's needs. But if someone's watching, how can they get more information? And are you always taking new people?
We are one of those things, Christine, we're glad we're around, but we wish we weren't around. So we always are taking new families. 2 years ago, we started a thing to reduce the time on our waiting list and the size of our waiting list. We started a location out in Taylorsville. So right now, our waiting list is the lowest it's been for a long, long time. So if there's any families out there that are in need of some grief support, please give us a call. You can call us at 801-466-6730.
Well, Well, thank you so much, John and Jenny, for joining us today. If you want more information as well about The Sharing Place, head to thesharingplace.org. We really appreciate the time they spent with us today and are very grateful that we have this type of organization here locally to provide that support to families who are grieving. We'll be back with more right here on Mountain Connections after this.